Good evening, Mount Vernon. My name is Quentin Lewis, and I am honored to have been given this opportunity to speak to you all tonight, giving the recharge for Youth Week. Youth Week, Mount Vernon, is basically when we tell the adults to sit down and that we got this. The adults, they'll be back next week. For this week, you're stuck with us youth. The youth week, we take over the entire service from recharge to Sunday service, sermonette, altar call, everything that you see other people may do, we're going to do this week. I am glad that I've been given this opportunity. I've been doing Youth Sunday since it first began. I want to say since 2016, 2017, when it first started. And I'm glad that I've been continuing this with the recharge and continuing the series that Reverend Caldwell gave to us a couple of Thursdays ago, which is the produce aisle, the fruits of the Spirit. Tonight I'll be talking about the most important two, in my personal opinion, which is goodness and faith. Kindness, everyone, is on the soft side of good. And, show kindness, be kind to others as those who may or may not be kind to us, but still under anything, show kindness. Goodness is more Mount Vernon like the gangster fruit, straightforward in our approach, standing up for the little guy, standing up for people who we may not see be doing right, standing up for what we see as doing wrong. Goodness is more straightforward. It's the gangster fruit because it's so gangster with its approach, you have to call it the gangster fruit. But with that, goodness also reflects on the character of God. Goodness in your desires to see goodness in others. And it's not beyond confronting or rebuking for that to happen. I have my notes right here. But to dissect that statement right there, goodness in your desires to see goodness in others, and is not beyond confronting or even rebuking for that to happen, which means, Mount Vernon, no matter what, no matter how it's going on, what you see, we have to always want to desire to see the goodness in others, not beyond confrontation. Confronting people that we may see doing wrong to others, doing wrong to things that we love and care about, or doing wrong in general that may end up being a bad idea or can cause more turmoil or can cause more problems in the future. We have to be able to confront and say, no, this is not right, and I'm going to stand up for what is right, and what you are doing is not right. And even rebuking for that to happen, we have to always make sure, no matter what, God is in control of everything. We cannot let Satan, even for a minute, think he has a one-up on us. He does not control anything. He does not matter in this situation. God is the one that matters. And if we have to rebuke him so that we can see the goodness in others, I don't know about you all, Mount Vernon, but I am going to rebuke him. Which is why I said before, goodness is more like the gangster fruit, because we are so straightforward with our approach. We can come out of nowhere and say, this is not right. You should not be doing this. Do what is right for others so that others can do right for you. Goodness is about standing up for others who may not have a voice or who may not be able at the moment to speak up for themselves. When we all have our limits. We all have our times where we can just completely go off. Others may be more laid back, more, I wouldn't say scared, but more laid back, and they really don't speak up that much. And, they're more like, okay, I'll do this and I'll do that. And they don't stand up for themselves. We have to be able to make sure we let them know you have to stand up for yourself to see goodness in our desires to see goodness in others, confronting those to make that happen. We have to stand up for the little guy. We have to stand up for the people who may not be able at that point in time to stand up for themselves. When we see people mistreated, we have to stand up for that person to see them being mistreated. Case in point, for example, this goodness is the fruit that drove Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to march on Washington with millions and millions and millions of people at his side. He spoke up to the injustices of the United States, the injustices of the people who were being wronged towards us, who was being wronged towards African Americans, who was basically putting every single bit of laws, legislations, restrictions, problems, troubles, anything you can think of. He was the one that spoke up and said, "This is not right. You should not be doing this. We are not going anywhere. We are standing up for ourselves to make sure that you know you are not going to be able to do this anymore." Goodness is the fruit that drove Huey P. Newton to start the Black Panther Party, producing breakfast programs and an after school program, late pickup program to keep kids out of the street, acknowledging the freedoms to bear arms no matter the color of your skin. Going back to that, goodness is the fruit. Huey P. Newton, when he saw kids in the street being led the wrong direction, being led towards trouble, being led towards more crime, he was the one that started a breakfast program. When he saw that kids came in, didn't have much to eat, didn't have any food to eat when they came into school, he started a breakfast program for them, an after school program so they would stay out of the street, and late pickup programs to keep them out of crime, gangs, the street, and anything. Like I said before, goodness is this fruit that will help you look towards others, that would help you not pay attention to oneself, but more of themselves, and that doing more for others as others would do for you. He was the one that said we need to keep these kids out of the street, more in school, and we need to see how we can help them out. That is the fruit that helped him to say, you know what, let me help others so that they can be successful and at anything they want to do, and less out of crime, where we both know can end in two places. This is the fruit that drove Harriet Tubman to help free the slaves, everyone, going back and forth to the north, to the south, and everything with her walking stick and with her friends by her side. She walked to and from to help them, I said, get to freedom. Like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot explain this enough. Doing good for others as others will do for you. Not always about us. It's not always about what we want, what we desire, what we need. It's about what others may need, what others may want. She saw the slaves being beaten, tortured, killed, sold, and she said, I cannot stand idly by. I cannot simply throw my hands up and say there's nothing I can do. When she walked from the south to the north to make sure free slaves were freed, then walked back to the south, then walked back. She did everything she can until she couldn't no more. I said that helped people, I said, get to freedom and get to the life that they so wanted, that did not require bondage. I said, and that did not require them being beaten, tortured, or sold to the highest bidder, because no one should be able to be beaten, tortured, or sold to the highest bidder. This goodness is the fruit that drove Jesus to flip over the tables in the temple when he saw people being cheated out of their money. John chapter 2, verse 13 through 17. When God seen people being cheated out of their money, when God see people that was being stolen from them, that was being like cheated out of their money, like blind, he flipped over the tables in the temple and confronted them and said that this is just not right. God touches and he speaks to us, Mount Vernon, through human experience. When we see things going wrong, we need to speak up. We need to ask ourselves these questions. Am I easily set off when things go wrong, or when people irritate me? Or am I able to keep a godly perspective in the face of life's irritations? Is it my goal to serve others with kindness? Or am I too focused on my own needs, on my own desires, or problems to let the goodness of God overflow to others? Does my life reflect on the holiness of God? And do I desire to see others experience God at a deep level in our own lives? We need to ask ourselves those questions, because those questions can really be important to see, maybe do I want to see myself succeed by my own, or do I want to see others succeed as well as I succeed? It's not always about us, Mount Vernon. It's not always about us, Mount Vernon. It is not always about us. It is about others. Do we want to see other people succeed? Do we want to see other people being helped like we were helped? Do we want to see other people being not used? Do we want to see people not being mistreated? Do we want to see people not feeling like they're not at their best? Or do we offer them advice? Do we offer them help? That is goodness. In Psalms chapter 23, verse 6, it says, "Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." In Galatians chapter 6, verse 10, "Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong in a family of believers." In Matthew chapter 5, verse 15 through 16, it says, "Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." I want you all to think about that when the next time you have to show goodness to others. Remember this. Remember everything that's going on and say, you know what? I need to show goodness to others. I need to stand up. I need to confront them so that I may desire to see the goodness in others as I myself have goodness in me, and that I myself God wants us to be good, and that God wants us to show goodness to others as he definitely shows goodness to us. The next fruit is faithfulness. Faithfulness, a faithful person is one with real integrity. He or she is someone others can look to as an example, and someone who is truly devoted to others and to Christ. Our natural self always wants to be in charge, but spirit-controlled faithfulness is evident in the life of a person who seeks good for others and glory for God. Another word for integrity is honesty or uprightness. And tonight, I want to deal with honesty. Honesty, Mount Vernon, is key to who we are. Honesty is the way of telling the truth, no matter what. No matter what may happen, no matter how it does, no matter the situation. At one point or another, we have to be honest. Not always to others, but to ourselves. And the four areas that we need to be honest in is our feelings and the space we are in with others. Feelings, Mount Vernon, can definitely take us to a place where we may want to just cut off everyone, the rest of the world, start over with friends, and just be by ourselves. But if someone has hurt you, if someone has made you feel uncomfortable, if someone has put you in a place where you do not like, if someone has said something about you that you do not like, you need to be honest. You need to go to that person, tell them, give it some space, give it some time. Tell that person down the line what you said, what you did, the environment that you put me in really hurt me. And I want you to know it made me feel uncomfortable, so that maybe we can have a conversation on how we can fix it and make sure that it never happens again. In our health. And Mount Vernon, this is really where a lot of people need to start having these conversations, especially with COVID. For those who don't know, I do go to the gym regularly, often, and I was given a health scare a couple years ago, and back then I was really in denial because I wasn't honest with myself. I did not want to believe that this was happening to me. I did not want to believe that I was doing this to myself. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. I said, God, I need you to help me. I need you to help me. And it was then where I had to be honest with myself and said, I cannot let this happen to me again. I cannot let what's going on continue. I cannot let what's happening right now, the things I am doing, to continue, because if I do want to continue to live on, I need to change my ways. I need to be honest, just like everyone else need to be honest. If you know your health or conditions or anything that may impact your health is not going in the right way, we need to be honest. We need to make sure we change our lifestyle. We need to make sure we have a plan in place to make sure that it never happens again. And where we are in our relationship with God, the third area, we need to make sure we are honest and truthful. Are we where we are? Are we where we want to be in our relationship with God? Do we pray to him? Do we go to church to hear his word? Do we ask him questions? Do we listen to him? Do we talk to him? We need to be honest with ourselves on, are we where we are or where we want to be in our relationship with God? And honestly, the fourth most important area is with ourselves. Are we honest with ourselves? Is this right now the place we want to be in our lives? Is this where we want to be? Am I in the career I want to be in? Am I going to be able to help myself for what I'm doing right now later on? Are the friends that I have with me helping me or hurting me? Are the family members I have with me helping me or hurting me? Am I the right person that I want to be in mentally, emotionally? Am I where I want to be in my life? We have to be honest with ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because if we are not honest with ourselves, then we can never get to that point of being okay. We can never get to that point of being happy, healthy with our lives, our souls, our spirit, and our relationship with God if we are not honest with ourselves. We must be willing to ask the tough questions, but understand that Christ is the answer to those questions. Pray to him, talk to him, love him, request and seek guidance from him. And all your problems, all your questions will be answered. Some scriptures about faithfulness. A faithful man is rich with blessings, but one who is eager to get rich will not go unpunished. Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. Stand firm, therefore, in the liberty by which Christ has made us free, and don't be entangled again with a yoke of bondage. And Matthew chapter 25, verse 21. His Lord said to him, well done, good and thy faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will get you over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Goodness and faith will take you many places, and you yourself, Mount Vernon, has to answer those questions. Goodness and faith, where can it lead me? How can I help? And how can I start showing goodness and faith so that others can show me the same? I hope you enjoyed this night's recharge. My name is Quentin Lewis. God bless, and may God be with you all in these times of uncertainty. I love you all, my Mount Vernon family, and please see the conclusion of Youth Sunday this coming Sunday, starting at 10:45, Sunday school at 9:30 a.m. God bless you all, and I love you all.
But it's about Jesus. It's not about you.